I recently, on one of my nights off, spent some time going down Reddit threads and other boards and whatnot, just reading different people's stories that they've shared for various reasons with various groups. And in one of them, I found this person telling their life story that they had always wanted to be an artist but put it off and spent many years just miserable until finally deciding they were going to make it happen. And at the age of 25, I think it was 25, he said, he had finally practiced enough that he got some kind of internship or entry position of some kind with a comic book company that he didn't mention or name. Um, and spent several years honing his craft, practicing his art, getting better as an artist, until at the age of 30, he was in a car accident that took his hand, his dominant hand that he drew with. And part of the story that really sunk its teeth into me was that everyone just assumed his life was over. His coworkers threw a going away party. Everyone acted with the melancholy as if he died. And you would assume as much. He had spent most of his adult life working on his art, and now it seemed as if his art was gone forever. But he didn't accept that. He got to work, he went to physical therapy, he practiced every day, he cultivated use of his non dominant hand, his offhand, to the point that not only could he go about his daily life like normal, but he could continue drawing and eventually got as good as and better than he was with his original primary hand. And at the age of 40, finally had enough credence and experience and people having faith in him with drawing with his offhand that he started his own comic book series. And this story, it really hit with me. I've always wanted to draw. I've always wanted I've always felt like I would have my life enriched if I could draw. I follow plenty of artists on social media across Tumblr and Reddit, and I'm so envious of what they can do. I would give anything to have that talent. And the obvious funny response is, well, all you need to give is time to practice. And that's what it is. That's what the deal is. That's how they got good. That's how they got to where they could do what they do. Is they spent the time to practice. If I want it, I should do the same. I dabbled in art in middle school, but it never caught. And then when I was in college, I got really invested in it. I really wanted it to be what I did, but a combination of things stopped me. My parents told me it would be a stupid idea, and objectively, they were right. But still, the thing that killed me was I was listening at the time to artists I was following now then, and some of them I'm still following now, and they were talking about how long they had spent cultivating their skill and talking about how they had been drawing since middle school. And I thought to myself, fuck, I've missed out on all these years, all these 4 years, because I was 19 at the time, and they were talking about when they were 15. And at the time, I thought to myself, my God, it's so much wasted time. I might as well not even bother. And now I'm 30. Now I'm 30. And I could have had almost a decade of experience. No, over a decade. I'm also bad at math. I would now have over a decade of experience if I had just bit that back and kept practicing and practiced since. I would now I would now have more experience than the artists I was listening to talk about their careers would have had at the time I was listening to them talk that they had, if that makes sense. So, hearing that person's story And having had the idea for this video you're watching now banging around in my head for a while as a way to get back into art, the two of them pushed me over into it. So this is a thing we're going to be doing, hopefully for a while. Hopefully I can look back at that statement in 10 years' time when I have 10 years' experience and think it's funny instead of tragic. This is not... I'm almost 6 minutes into it. By now you can see backups to my story. This is not the art of someone who's practiced a whole lot. This is my beginning with digital art. What you're looking at is the second piece of digital drawing I've ever done, ever. The first would be our new channel icon, that adorable little elephant, which I've named Humphrey, by the way. His name is Humphrey. Say hello to him. I had planned on him being the first art journal, but my software, I forgot to hit record while I was making him. So I finished making him, I saved the file, and I was like, yeah, that's a nice start. The first art journal should be the icon, the mascot I've been planning for making the face of the channel. And then I couldn't find the recording of the audio, and wouldn't you know it, I done fucked up. So instead you get shitty little sketches of Jeff the Shark. Oh boy. I need you to appreciate how much it's taking out of me to first off try. And second off, try with digital art. I'm significantly better with classic pen and paper. My tablet is not particularly fancy. I don't particularly know how to use Krita. You're probably going to see multiple times in this recording where I was fucking around with menus and with the select tool trying to get it to do what I wanted it to do. And I was too arrogant's the word. I was too arrogant to just pause my recordings and look up a YouTube tutorial on how to use select tool in Krita, which I still haven't done because I'm just stubborn like that. So that's where we're starting with this. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I barely know how to draw. This is my beginning as an artist. And hopefully this isn't where we stay. Hopefully if I do this regularly enough and I practice enough, these art journals will start to be something I'm less embarrassed to put out as far as what you are visually taking in. Oh boy. I really wish I was going to find like a desk arm setup that could hold my phone and record while I drew on pen and paper. And that may yet be what I do for some, because not only am I better at it, I enjoy drawing with pen and paper more. I just like the textile feel of a pen or a pencil leaving marks on paper over the very awkward nature of drawing on my tablet but not watching where my hand is going, watching the cursor on the screen. Hopefully I get more used to that as we go, but right now it is really fucking me up super bad. But you may see some more traditional art in the future. You may see some 3D art. I've had my eye on Blender for a while, and I may play around with that if I can ever get it to fucking work. I've downloaded it, but when I boot it up, it says the drivers aren't installed, even though as far as I know they are, and that's an issue, and I don't know how to solve it. So yeah, if anyone more familiar with Blender who's encountered that error before and knows how to fix it could let me know. Maybe I just need to reinstall them. I've just been too lazy to do it. But yeah, that story I read in a Reddit thread, it really got to me. I know this isn't fair. This isn't a healthy mentality to take. But all I could think was, if this man could have first off achieved what he wanted. I'm starting from the bottom. He's starting from having fallen to the bottom after getting his dream and what he wanted and working so hard for it. If he can bounce back after that, after losing his hand, after the trauma of a car accident like that, after everything he went through, like there's there's no excuse for me. I can do this. I just need to make myself do this. And I'm taking that approach because it's finally getting me to do this. Don't. Do not do that. That's not healthy. That's not a healthy, motivating attitude. You shouldn't compare yourself to other people, and you shouldn't compare what you can do to what they can do. I'm doing it because I hate myself. And you shouldn't do it because you shouldn't hate yourself. I'm not going to take that advice. I'm going to keep doing the unhealthy thing, but you should do as I say and not as I do. Oh boy, this does not look great. I'm not. I should probably talk about the art itself at some point 10 minutes in. I'm not particularly happy with this. It looks sloppy. It looks messy. It's not anything to boast of. Between this and the playing around with drawing Humphrey, I am, at least as far as digital art, I'm favoring a very scratchy kind of, hell, what's his name? Whatever the name of the artist is that did the official Metal Gear artwork. That's all abstract, but with his just utterly brilliant use of negative space, you can still clearly see who it is in the portraits. It's kind of remind me of that, at least the vibe I'm getting. I'm not saying I'm anywhere near his skill level, not at all. But just like, I think I'm going to lean towards like scratchy, more sketchy, slightly abstracty art. If you are familiar with the Elden Ring or Armor Core subreddits, there are artists that like to post certain portraits they've done of different characters in an art style that I'm just really like, it's in my sights. Like I'm not saying I'm their skill level at all, or that I can even begin to, oh, this is my style or anything like that. No. But just as far as setting goals for myself and looking at people and being like, I would like to emulate them, or at least be able to do what they can do. As far as my digital art goes, I'm really liking that. If I can find them, I'll link them in the description or put them up in the video if I can. But yeah, this is going to be an ongoing project with the channel going forward, is me working on art. It's also going to be more me just talking about my life and how I feel about things, and potentially venting about issues I have going on, or just sharing what my lived experience has been with anyone willing to hear it. So if you've listened to 12 minutes and 58 seconds of me rambling like this, I greatly appreciate it. First off, it's been lovely spending time with you. And also, I hope to see you in the future. I hope you stick around.